In the headlines, President Tinubu visits victims of Benue killings, holds talks in Makurdi. 700 missing in Moko floods. Lassa fever toll hit 143 as outbreak spread to 18 states. On the foreign scene, Khamenei warns U.S. as Israel strikes 40 targets. Hello and welcome to Trust News Updates. My name is Idris Baturi. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the security chief to arrest perpetrators of last Friday's massacre in Yelwater community in Guma local government area of Benue State. He gave the directive shortly after visiting surviving victims at the attack at the hospital. Tinubu visited the north central state following the attack, which left over 59 people dead and several others injured. The president went straight to the hospital after arriving at the Tactical Air Command Nigerian Air Force Base, Makurdi, at about 12:58 p.m. on Wednesday. He later left the hospital for the new banquet hall of the Benue State Government House, where he expected to meet with major stakeholders in the state in view of the violent attacks that have led to the loss of lives. Tinubu is expected to meet with families of victims, displaced and injured persons, and community leaders directly impacted by the violence. The meeting with the stakeholders is part of a broader effort to find a lasting solution to the crisis that has affected part of the state, especially rural communities. The state government declared a public holiday for the visit. Now, the Miete Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, has condemned the recent attack on Yelwater community in Benue State, which left several residents dead, injured, and displaced. In a statement, MACBAN President Babangida Zerma described the violence as senseless and extended condolences to the federal government and the people of Benue State. He raised concern about the continued killings of Fulani herders, alleging that over 57 herders were killed and more than 4,300 cattle rustled in Benue since January 2025. Zerma said herders often suffer in silence due to lack of access to media and poor representation. The MACBAN president criticized the profiling and stigmatization of Fulani herders and called for justice and compensation for victims. He also urged political, traditional, and religious leaders to stop promoting ethnic divisions and to support peaceful coexistence. Now, the Niger government says that over 700 persons are still missing following the recent flooding in Moko community in Moko local government area of the state. Governor Omar Bago of Niger disclosed this when he received Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, former Chief Security Officer to General Sani Abacha, and his friends in a condolence visit over the recent flood in Mina on Tuesday. Similarly, the governor of Niger State has revealed that most of the victims affected by the May 29 flood disaster in Moko town, the headquarters of Moko local government area, were non-indigenous, constituting over 50% of those impacted. He disclosed this on Tuesday while receiving humanitarian support from Veritas University Abuja, a Catholic church-owned institution. Represented by his deputy, Yakubu Garba, the governor stated that the state government had begun proper documentation of the victims, including collecting bank account details for the disbursement of funds donated by various government and organizations. Governor Bago added that families currently hosting the displaced victims will also receive support to boost their morale. Representing the humanitarian support, the Vice Chancellor of Veritas University, Reverend Father Professor Hyacinth Ichoku, represented by the Dean of the Faculty of Education, Reverend Dr. Peter Bakwap, said some students of the institutions lost family members in the disaster. He stated that the university had donated 150 mattresses, mosquito repellent, and other relief materials to support the victims' families during their time of grief. Now, a windstorm has wreaked havoc in Bunkuru local government area of Kano State, destroying resident building. The incident occurred in Sakafalle, Jalabi, and Zangon Buhari, both in Kulua ward of the local government area, rendering many people homeless. Zinc roofing sheets were damaged, just as mud and cement-made buildings were also destroyed by the powerful windstorm on Monday. Though no life was lost, valuable properties were lost in the incident. An information officer of the local government area, Labaran Garba, confirmed the incident, saying no life was lost. Meanwhile, the acting district head of Bunkure, Nasir Umar, has formally reported the matter to the Emir of Rano, Isa Umar, who has directed the compilation of a comprehensive report on the incident to be sent to the local government council for the appropriate interventions, and implored residents of the affected villages to take proactive steps against natural disasters. Now, Bauchi State Governor Bala Abdulkadir Muhammad has urged media practitioners to use their platforms to advocate for positive change and promote national development. He made the call at the first Media Summit 2025 organized by the Nigerian Union of Journalists NUJ Bauchi State Council with the theme Journalists and Good Governance. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports.
The summit brought together media executives, practicing journalists, and political office holders to discuss the role of the media in fostering good governance, especially in the face of the country's pressing challenges. Represented by the Chief of Staff Aminu Hassan Gamawa, Governor Bala Muhammad emphasized the critical role of the media in shaping public opinion and influencing leaders to act in the best interest of the people.
Your commitment to creating a platform for dialogue, introspection and progress within the media space is highly commendable. I particularly salute Comrade Umar Saeed, the convener and the NUJ chairman, for his tireless effort in organizing the landmark event, which we proudly supported.
Media professionals and academics at the event explore various strategies for strengthening governance in Nigeria, particularly in the light of widespread corruption, economic hardship, and social injustice.
Are facing, a challenge in Nigeria today when it comes to, the issue of governance. Good governance to me entails, accountability. It entails transparency. It entails, the rule of law. And Nigerians should be the ones holding government responsible, in the actualization of all this.
No matter how it hurts, we should report bad governance and encourage good governance. There are people who are making the efforts. So not everybody is not doing it right. Some are doing it well. And if that is happening, we should encourage it.
And in another way, also commend the state government for giving the support. This discussion is geared towards seeing how we can resolve the myriad of issues that we have as a country, particularly insecurity, of course, good governance. We know that we're not enjoying the services, we're not enjoying the basic amenities that ordinarily we should enjoy.
In their resolutions, stakeholders at the summit emphasized that any decision taken by Nigerian leaders must prioritize people-centered policies aimed at securing the future of the nation. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, staff unions of the Kaduna State Colleges of Education, Gidanwaya, have announced plans to commence a 3-day warning strike from Thursday, June 19, 2025. This followed the expiration of a 14-day ultimatum issued to the state government, which runs out on Wednesday, June 18. The joint union, made up of the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union, COESU, Senior Staff Union of Colleges of Education in Nigeria, and the Non-Academic Staff Union, NASU, is demanding urgent action on long-standing welfare issues that they say have been neglected despite earlier assurances from the government. The union announced this in a press conference held by the Joint Congress chaired by Ali Marajos following the emergency Congress held on June 2. Among the union's key demands are the immediate implementation of consolidated polytechnics and colleges of education academic salary structure and the consolidated tertiary education institution salary structure and the amendment of the 65-year retirement age policy to include non-academic staff. The unions warn that failure to meet these demands will lead to the 3-day warning strike from June 19 to 23, 2025. They, however, reaffirmed their commitment to dialogue and urged the government to act swiftly to avoid disruption. Now, the Nigerian Center of Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has reported a rise in Lassa fever death with 143 fatalities from 758 confirmed cases so far in 2025. This brings the case fatality rate to 18.9%, up from 17.8% in the same period last year. In its latest situation report for June 2 to 8, the agency confirmed 11 new cases in Ondo, Edo, Bauchi, and Taraba states, compared to 8 cases the previous week. So far, 18 states have recorded cases with 90% of infections reported in Ondo, Bauchi, Edo, Taraba, and Ebonyi. Young adults aged 21 to 30 remain the most affected group. One new infection among health workers was also reported, raising the total for the year to 23. The NCDC cited poor health-seeking behavior, late presentation, and inadequate sanitation as key challenges, adding that it has activated an incident management system and deployed rapid response teams to high-burden states. Now, as Nigeria continues to battle the challenges posed by sickle cell disease, ranging from high child mortality rate to limited access to retirement and persistent stigma, Rivers State is showing signs of meaningful progress. As part of progress, the State University Teaching Hospital, RSUTH, is calling for a robust national strategy to advance prevention care and public awareness. The report.
In commemoration of World Sickle Cell Day, Rivers State University Teaching Hospital revealed that it has treated over 200 children living with sickle cell disease in the past year, utilizing advanced medical technology. The event, held under the theme Transforming Care and Strengthening Communities, showcased both medical advancements and community engagement. The Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Professor Chizindo Akilo, reaffirmed the hospital's dedication to enhancing care for individuals living with the disease.
For us at the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, care for children and indeed adults living with sickle cell disease is an important one for us. We do a lot of collaborative business here in the care for people living with sickle cell disease.
The keynote speaker, Fuluke Fashola, advised patients to stay away from substance abuse as well as misuse of medications, urging them to embrace healthy lifestyles for better disease management.
Avoid stress, exhaustion. You can get exercise, you can do other things, but don't get yourself to the level of exhaustion. Drink plenty of water. Avoid extremes of temperature and things that can promote sickling. If you are smoking, you have some people who are smoking. They won't listen. Quit smoking. Get all recommended vaccination. Maintain good health. That's good nutrition, good hygiene. Attend your routine clinic every 3 months.
Testimonies from advocates and survivors, including Favor Wakama, a sickle cell warrior, highlighted the daily challenges and importance of support networks. Additional contributions came from Chioma Okechukwu, a consultant pediatrician, and Josiah Apollos, the head of pediatrics at the hospital, both emphasizing the need for a coordinated national effort to reduce the disease burden.
Sickle cell warrior has been both challenging, but with God and caregivers, my doctors, the kind gestures and all of it keeps making me stronger. Keeps giving me that hope that I can still live like every other person that are not with the disease.
Stroke is the most devastating complication in sickle cell disease. To prevent stroke, the world standard is to do what we call a transcranial Doppler ultrasound. And this is a simple, non-invasive procedure where in over 30 minutes we are able to use an ultrasound probe to look into the head and identify risk for strokes.
Most importantly, the financial implication of sickle cell is so enormous that the regular patient cannot afford that. So it means that the patient, government has to step in to provide the funding to help us provide free care, if possible, to this patient living with sickle cell.
As Nigeria joins the global community to mark this year's World Sickle Cell Day, the call for stronger policies, increased awareness, and better support systems continues to grow, while Rivers State stands as a promising example of what can be achieved through innovation and commitment.
This is the news update on Trust TV. Coming up ahead, right groups urge unity to strengthen democracy. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. President Tinubu visit victims of Benue killings, hold talks in Makurdi. And 700 missing in Moko floods. Now moving on to more stories, the leadership of the Northern Youth Council has called for restraint and prompt resolution in the sexual harassment allegation level against Senator Natasha Oduagan against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Speaking in Kaduna, the president of the group, Isa Abubakar, urged both parties to cooperate fully with the ongoing investigations, warning that unsubstantiated claims could cause irreversible damage to reputations and public trust. The reports.
Regarding this allegation, in light of the sexual harassment allegation leveled against the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, we would respectfully call on Senator Natasha Akpabio to provide concrete evidence to substantiate her claim. It is imperative that we approach such serious accusation with unwavering commitment to truth and justice. While we acknowledge extreme sensitivity of this issue, we must emphasize the unsubstantiated claim can lead to irrelevant damage to reputation and perpetuate a cycle of mistrust within our political institution.
Now, stakeholders in the civil society space have underscored the indispensable role of the active citizens in building a just and accountable society. Speaking to Trust TV's Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima, they stressed the importance of informed participation, highlighting how individual actions collectively strengthen democracy. The report.
Their insight offer a roadmap for holding leaders accountable while empowering citizens through knowledge and meaningful engagement. One of them, Hamzat Lawal, described the citizens as the backbone of societal progress. As such, individuals not only demand ethical leadership, but also promote shared community values.
An active citizen is one who add their voice to ensuring that government actually keep to their promises during campaign. An active citizen is the one who asks questions using informed data to challenge government to do the right thing. An active citizen is one who mobilize and galvanize their community and ensuring that the needs and yearnings of their community get the needed attention by government.
He emphasized that voting remained the cornerstone of democracy, noting that by electing leaders, citizens entrust them with governance responsibilities, making informed voting a vital step toward creating responsive and accountable institutions.
Voting itself is the foundation of democracy, because before you form a government, it must pass. For a democratic government, you must go to the polls. And in going to the polls and casting your ballot, you're giving your collective will and mandate to the person who have emerged as a winner to bring about change in managing resources and building public trust.
A right advocate, Kisli Agu, on his part, noted that citizens must go beyond the ballot by asking critical questions about policies, governance, and civic responsibilities. This, he said, enables people to engage meaningfully and demand transparency.
When you don't ask questions, things get bad. It's in asking questions that leaders get to see that they're either doing well or not doing well. So we need to keep engaging. If you don't engage, sometimes leaders don't know that things are not going right. But like we say, most times you have leaders that are surrounded with psychopaths that are not telling the truth. But it's in having private citizens being able to call government's attention to areas where they're not doing well. And also applaud them where they're doing well. That way we'll be able to get government to act correctly, be able to meet the needs of the citizens appropriately.
The contribution of Lawal and Agu reinforced the universal truth that democracy flourishes when citizens are informed, vocal, and vigilant. From casting vote to challenging injustice, every action matters in the quest for a better society. Abubakar Abdullahi Galadima, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now away from Nigeria, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei has warned that any U.S. military action on Iranian territory will trigger serious and irreparable consequences. He rejected what he called externally imposed war or peace terms. Meanwhile, Israel claims to have targeted 40 sites in Iran, including facilities for centrifuge production and weapons development. In response, Iran launched a wave of drone attacks on Israeli territory. U.S. President Donald Trump has called for Iran's unconditional surrender, asserting that American forces now have full control of Iranian airspace. The death toll from Israeli strikes on Iran has exceeded 240, with 70 women and children among the dead. Meanwhile, Iran's retaliatory attacks have killed more than 24 people in Israel. And now in sport, Serie A giant Juventus have reopened talks with Victor Osimhen's representatives, according to reports. The Bianconeri reportedly failed in their attempt to sign the Nigerian international earlier in the summer. Igor Tudor's side have resumed talks with the forwards representatives in recent days, according to Italian news outlet La Gazzetta dello Sport. Juventus are looking to strengthen their squad with 3 new signings this summer. Osimhen is the old ladies' #1 target for the striker's position. Juventus, however, face serious competition from Al Hilal and Galatasaray in their bid to land the forward. Al Hilal are still desperate to sign the 26-year-old after several failed attempts. Galatasaray want to sign him on a permanent deal after a successful loan spell that saw Osimhen register 37 goals and 8 assists in 41 appearances in the 2024-25 season. Juventus will need to negotiate a transfer fee with Napoli, as the £75 million release clause in the striker's contract is only for clubs outside Italy. And with that, we come to the end of the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Idris Dayeboture, thanking you for being with us. Good evening.